All right, here we go. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Recording this Saturday, February 24th, 2024. This is about roughly 24 to 48 hours after there was a colleague of mine, and Mr. T, shout out to Mr. T, he shared this clip. Now, before I even get started on today's Move Swiftly thought, I'm just going to put this disclaimer out there right now. I'm not a politician. I don't like watching the news. I can't watch the news. It's absolutely disgusting. It makes my skin crawl in terms of all the stuff that they talked about. I remember actually taking a political science class in college because it was a requirement, and it said, look, it told me just based on that class, I ain't going into politics because I just can't take it. I can't take all of the dancing around questions, dancing around answers, the whole thing. Okay, so politics is not necessarily my thing. However, like I told you a couple episodes ago, I do understand the need to understand the concept of politics. All right, so it was shared with me, a clip was shared with me about and again, even if I knew this guy's name, even if I could remember this guy's name, I probably still wouldn't say his name on this video because I don't want to give him any more airtime than he's already got. He was on national television on Fox News, a white guy who gave the opinion or said this on national TV. He said that the blacks are now going to vote for Donald Trump because it's resonating with the blacks, that he has put out a pair of $400 sneakers. All right, this is what the man said out of his own mouth. Again, you can go look up the quote and you'll find it. But again, I'm not going to put his name out there because I don't even know his name, to be honest with you. Don't want to know his name. But, you know, when I did look him up at the time, I did see that he had a couple books out and he's a thought leader, and there's he's obviously impressed and has some credence in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So whatever may go on after, you know, I'm going off simply what he said on national TV in terms of today's Move Swiftly thought, because I think it was complete bullshit. I think it was complete bullshit, and it takes me back to a lot of times where, you know, again, my father was a person who watched the news religiously, and I remember countless situations, countless times where he would look at me when I was growing up and stuff, and just say, look, son, you're growing up in some absolutely crazy times. I mean, and he would watch this kind of stuff religiously. I could only imagine what his reaction would be to those sort of comments. All right, so this is why I was so disgraceful at the fact that he would go on national TV and say that, okay, because Donald Trump is putting out $400 pair of sneakers, all of a sudden now the blacks are going to vote for him. We're going to start supporting him and all that kind of stuff. Here's why it's ridiculous. So there's a couple fronts I want to look at this at, all right, because I'm reminded of I had a whole day to digest it and think about everything and where someone, and then that's me, you know, I try to figure out ways of why someone would say something so ridiculous. All right, so I'll start with the reason it's so ridiculous in my world, in my personal opinion, is because I'm not like that. Me personally, I'm a black guy, I'm a black person, and I just spent $64 on a pair of shoes, and I didn't even like the fact that I spent that much, you know. So to make the generalization that blacks are just going to vote for a person because they like his sneakers or they like the cost of his sneakers, that in my world, in my personal opinion, was ridiculous. However, there was a time back in, you know, my earlier years when I was coming up where, you know, I'd ask my parents to buy me $100 pairs of Jordans and all that kind of stuff. But I grew out of that. Because I was raised in a very structured environment, and my father was, you know, very much about the financial literacy and ran his own business, as is my mother, as is my older sister. So I was out of that world where you're going to be paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for sneakers and all that kind of stuff, right? So as I dive deeper into it and I thought about his comments more and more, I realized that we as black people got to do a better job. We got to do a better job in holding ourselves accountable across the board. All right? We got to be a whole lot more consistent, because there are jackasses who are on TV who talk like that, and they will not get an ounce. They won't get, there was not an ounce of backlash in terms of the national media based on the bullshit he said. However, if you think about it, past 2 years, there's been two events that I'm really thinking about, just hearing him say that I'm thinking about now. The first one was when Kyrie Irving, and you hate to compare situations, but it's ridiculous that we're not going to hold this politician or whoever this thought leader, whatever his name is, we're not going to hold him accountable for that generalization. However, we look at a professional athlete like Kyrie Irving, who would reshare a tweet that was about that was not technically not anti-Semitic at all, but it was about a documentary that had some anti-Semitic language in it. He didn't sell it. He doesn't sell the documentary. He didn't push the documentary. He just simply retweeted. He didn't go tell people to watch it. It was just something in which the name, I believe it was a situation in which his name had something to do with the documentary, something that was said in the documentary, and he just simply connecting with his fans, connecting with his people. Yet we almost murdered this man for being anti-Semitic. There were protests. I believe he even got suspended, something ridiculous like that. Couldn't do his damn job because of something that he retweeted. Yet again, we have this white politician on national TV making a generalization about black people, and we don't say anything. We don't have any backlash over, like, where's the national media attention? Where is all of the attention? All right, so that was the first thing that I think is bullshit, is the fact that, number one, we will hold Kyrie Irving to a certain standard because he's a professional basketball player, yet the politicians of this world, the people that are on Fox News, on national TV, we don't say a motherfucking thing, all right? That's number one. Second thing was when it was about a year ago this time where primetime Deion Sanders went on that, he was facing a lot of backlash for the generalization that he made in terms of, when he's looking for defensive linemen. He wants single mothers. He wants barely can afford. He made a lot of generalizations in terms of who he's looking for in recruiting and all that. And again, I myself included was very critical. I didn't like his comments at all. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. But again, we make it so somebody like that gets more attention than what a politician says about black people. And then we understand why this white person thinks like that. Do you see how all of that moves in a circle? Do you see how all the generalizations that sometimes we make ourselves makes it so this white man goes on TV and makes a generalization about us that is ridiculous? And it all stems from a lot of the things that Primetime he kind of insinuated, or he kind of alluded to when he said what he said. Now, granted, he never mentioned race in his comments, and if you want to get technical and all that, he never said, looking for black players, white players. He never separated by race, which is what gives him a little grace in the situation. This guy on TV actually said race, actually said blacks are going to go vote for Trump, to where now I'm listening to this now. What am I less black because I'm probably won't vote for Trump, but if I do vote, am I less black because I voted for Biden and Trump has sneakers, So it's just ridiculous how we are continuously in 2024, how we're continuously classifying people by race, making generalizations of people, about race, and it's ridiculous, and it just needs to stop. It needs to stop. I don't foresee it stopping anytime soon, but for you loyal listeners and loyal followers of my work, understand you can't live your life like that. You got to live your life as you. You got to be you and figure out the best way to do that yourself. Because when you look out into the world, they're always going to be classifying you based on what your status is, what the color of your skin is, what your ethnicity is. All those sorts of things you're always going to be kind of pigeonholed and stereotyped. So it's important that you have a strong sense of self, so you're able to move forward in a productive and a cohesive manner. All right. That's all I got to say about that. Again, like I said, I'm not a politician. I knew I was going to get long-winded on this because there was a lot to break down when it comes to just the comments and the arrogance and the ignorance of his comments in general, and the lack, in my opinion, just the lack of backlash that he's getting versus how much backlash we gave, or how much we pay attention to the comments of a Kyrie Irving or a Deion Sanders, how much backlash we give to those folks. Yet the people that are on TV, that this is their job, this is the way they talk, and I'm not hearing any real national attention when it comes to the generalization he made. All right. Whew. Main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, makeyamove.com. That's makeyamove.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.